welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Pflugerville. So glad to be here this beautiful Sunday morning. I'm Cary, and I am one of your prayer chaplains, and I also serve on the board. So grateful for this beautiful weather this morning. It's a little chilly, so we're all invigorated, and we're all very much awake. So we just sang the beautiful song Fast Track, which was written by our own congregate Victoria. And so for those of you on Facebook, I'd just like to share the final verse of that song. Oh, how I long to be my own true self again, to dream again, begin again, be best friends again. So our greatest desire is to return to our own true selves, being centered in our Christ consciousness, feeling safe and balanced within the divine. One of the gifts that we have been given is that we can always begin again. We can always dream again. We can always be best friends again with ourselves and with others. It's one of the gifts that we've been given. So I'd like us to take a moment to get centered with an affirmation. And if you'll repeat this with me. There is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life, God the good. So take just a moment and center into this awareness of the divine within you and as you. It is both immanent within our own being and transcendent everywhere without. I like one of Webster's definitions of transcendent, describing something that is so excellent that it is beyond the range of human understanding. Be open to the mystery and the majesty of the divine. And it is you. You are the divine on this planet Earth, here for a purpose, here to shine your light. Terry's meditation this morning was so beautiful. That spark of divinity that's within you that sometimes just feels like a spark, it's not just a spark, it is the truth of who you are. Now sometimes we have to grow that spark. Sometimes we have to actually consciously focus on that, to let it shine, to share that gift of who you are with the planet Earth, to share your love, to share your uniqueness, because every one of you is here for a purpose. So my topic today is inner peace during times of turmoil. And so it's been a little bumpy lately. So anytime that we are pulled away from our awareness and our connection to the divine, I think that we are pulled off balance and that we are at risk of losing harmony within ourselves and within others. During the political environment right now, there are a lot of changes that are happening. And there are people who are experiencing different levels of trauma. Like no matter which side of the political fence that you're on, there's a lot of stuff that's happening in the news. And if you tune into media, you are immediately besieged with doom and gloom. I don't want to discount the amount of uncertainty that's happening right now that we're facing, because there are a lot of things that are changing. And some of those changes are uncomfortable. Some of those changes we don't have complete information about. And it feels like we hear one thing today, we hear something else tomorrow, and we're like, what the heck is going on? Many people are feeling powerless and afraid. So today's the 5th Sunday of Lent. We are just around the corner from Easter. In Unity, we think of Lent as a time of consciously releasing things that we no longer need. Our Lent booklet that we've been reading in the garden likens this releasing to weeding a garden to make space for new growth. Just as plants are pruned to stay healthy, we release negative habits or traits that crowd out our good. So Kathy, can you put us to the next slide? On Tuesday evenings, our Centering Prayer Group is reading Reverend Ellen Davenport's book, The 5 Principles, A Guide to Practical Spirituality. So last week we explored unity principle number 3. We create our life experiences through our way of thinking. Everything in the manifest realm has its beginnings in thoughts. When we experience times of trouble or chaos, our thoughts tend to turn to negative. Fear, doubt, anger, frustration, etc. Given that we are co-creating our lives with God, we need to be in control of our thoughts. Reverend Davenport says that we are living in an ocean of love and abundance in which we cannot fail. We are ever connected to the source of all things. We are extensions of the ultimate creator. And we can tap into our power, into our wisdom, and into the guidance of the divine at any time. She reminds us what amazing power we have as human beings. No less than the abilities of Christ reside in us. And what an awesome responsibility that is too, right? If we truly can do all the works that Jesus did, and more than these, as stated in John 14:12, not only can we change our lives, we can change the world. So how do we begin to change our thoughts? First, we need to be self-aware. We need to be listening and monitoring how we feel. Which of those thoughts aren't supporting our well-being? So next we have to figure out how to make choices on how to shift those thoughts. Sometimes it's really easy to flip a negative thought. You're driving down the road, somebody pulls in front of you, your first, your response may be to have a hand gesture. Hi. And then at first, you might be really upset, but then you can really quickly shift into, oh, that person's having a really bad day, or they were distracted, or, oh, hey, I've done that a time or two myself. I've accidentally pulled in front of somebody, because we all make mistakes. And then you let it go. But sometimes you get hooked by a negative emotion that you just can't shake, right? It really wears you down, and you ruminate over it, and then it starts to really physically affect you. Something happens, or you read a particularly disturbing piece of news, or even after a situation has seemingly resolved itself, it's left an emotional imprint that you're finding it hard to heal from. So we talked in the past about the practice of Ho'oponopono. This was an ancient, traditional Hawaiian practice of reconciliation and forgiveness within families. It was often used to heal illnesses, relationships, and to resolve conflict. This was a process of prayer, confession, repentance, and mutual restitution and forgiveness. Ho'oponopono translates to make it right, or to set things right. In 1976, a healing priest by the name of Moana Simeonu adapted this traditional practice to fit modern day society and modern day social issues. So she modified it so that it could be used individually rather than just in the family. Her idea was that all problems stem from inner conflict, and that by addressing these internal issues, Individuals can positively influence their external world. So there are 4 core elements of the practice. It's repentance for past actions or thoughts, then seeking forgiveness, followed by expressing gratitude, and then ending with offering love. It's a practice that we can use to intentionally create inner harmony when we are feeling particularly unbalanced or unhappy. So for those of you who are familiar with this, you may have heard the phrases, I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And so those 4 statements originated in the book Zero Limits, co-authored by Joe Vitale and Morna's former student and administrator, Ahaliklala Hublin. I went out on YouTube, love YouTube, right? You can get so much information out there to kind of learn more about this to get ready for this talk. And so I heard someone read Morna's long prayer. And if you ever get an opportunity, you can just search Ho'oponopono, and you can actually hear someone read that. And it's extremely beautiful. And she brings in everything that's going on at that point in time, and then she brings in 4 phrases afterwards to promote healing. I actually have unitized this a little bit to kind of match what she's done, because hers were, I'm sorry, forgive me, I love you, and she ends with, I'm grateful. And that's not in Joe and Lou's work. That I'm grateful is not there in that way. And so, Kathy, if you can kind of put up, okay, perfect. So this, what I changed it to is, I apologize. I changed that because we know that when we say, I'm sorry, we're really careful with our I ams, right? And so changing it from I'm sorry to I apologize, I feel is more in line with unity principle. And then forgive me. And then I love you. And then I am grateful. You can use these phrases in meditation, you can use them in visualization, or you can simply repeat them. So the first step is that, again, recognizing what's got you hooked. Is it a feeling? Is it a thought? Is it an action? Either something that you've done or something that somebody else has done. So I apologize. So that's false thoughts, right? Because we know that we are divine beings, and that we know that sometimes we miss the mark. But that's not the truth of who we are. And that's not the truth of who others are either. Part of this is recognizing and seeing the Christ conscious in other people. Forgive me. Releasing. Letting it go. And we know sometimes we have to do that over and over and over. And some of that is, in that forgiveness, you may start thinking that you're forgiving another person, but then maybe it's also forgiving yourself because you had that false thought about them, or you had that expectation of them. You had an expectation that you never even voiced. And then you got upset over something that they said or they did, and they were doing their best. We are all doing the best at this moment in time with the situations that we have. Now, we may not think that we're doing the best, And then later we get a chance to kind of go back and reflect and say, well, yeah, I could have done that differently. Okay, I'm going to forgive myself. I love you. So this is the phrase that brings you back to Christ consciousness. This brings you back to the truth of who you are. We are all love. Transcendent, immanent, ever being at our core. And so this is saying, In loving you, I love myself. In loving myself, I love you. I am grateful. Practicing gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to what we have. Gratitude increases good. We know that whenever we're grateful for something, we get more things to be grateful for, right? What we're focused on, we attract. So, as you're releasing these feelings and thoughts, you're opening up space for God to bring you what you need now. And this is a process. You may need to do it over and over. And there's that thing where you thought you were fine, and hello, here it comes again. So, and it's also sometimes if it's a person whether it's somebody in media, whether it's somebody in your immediate environment, picture them in your mind as you're doing this. And then just see the light of God surrounding them. Let go of what it is that makes you uncomfortable about them, or what it is that makes you angry about them, what it is that makes you fearful about them, and just focus on seeing the Christ consciousness in there, because we know that that's the truth of who they are, no matter whatever their actions are. And so next slide. Be good to yourself. Self-care. My friends, and this is for me, also, some of the things that you can do to take care of yourself during these times of turmoil. Get plenty of sleep, rest, take a day off. We're all super busy people, but sometimes you just need to disconnect. Sometimes you just need to clear your calendar and just sleep, hang out, watch TV, read, go for a walk, be in nature. Whatever refills your soul, whatever brings you from empty, at least back up to half full, if not full. Folks, we got to take care of ourselves. Can't take care of anybody else if you don't take care of yourself. That's super true. Especially, you guys who are moms or dads, that's a core thing about being a good parent. Eating food. Lots of fruits and vegetables. Eat things that are good for you. If you like that Hershey's dark chocolate kiss, have one if that makes you happy. That's the big thing in our family. We are never without those. But make sure that you eat and nourish your body with healthy things. Water. Be sure and stay hydrated. Drink lots of water. The fruit that I talked about, put strawberries in your water, put melons in your water, make it a little bit special, but be sure and stay hydrated. Laughter. Laughter is a big one, and I think that we don't do enough of this. And I'm amazed that when we come in here on Sunday morning, there is so much joy when you walk through that door. Everybody, you can just see everybody leaves their worries behind, they leave their stress behind. We're so glad to see each other, and there's laughter all the way until service starts. There's laughter through the service. We let it all go. And so if we could take that out into our days, take that into our weeks, it's amazing what laughter does for you. It enhances the intake of oxygen-rich air. It stimulates your heart, your lungs, and your muscles. It increases endorphins released by the brain, and endorphins make us feel good. It activates and relieves stress response. We hold on to our stress, people. You hold on to it in your muscles, and it stays there, and it can affect your health. So you gotta let that go. It strengthens your immune system. It boosts your mood. It diminishes pain. It protects you from stress. It enhances your cardiovascular health. It promotes relaxation and stress relief. It helps with pain management. We need to be watching some comedies in our house.
I love Lucy.
It increases blood flow. It reduces your stress hormones. It decreases artery inflammation, so that's super important for your heart, right? It increases your HDL. I didn't even know that, your good cholesterol. It reduces your risk of heart attacks. So gosh, something so easy as laughing has so many good benefits for you. And then hugs. You know, if you need a hug, ask for a hug. You know, don't wait for somebody to give you a hug. We do this in our household. I need a hug. I've had a really hard day. And my hubby gives the best hugs, so I'm super grateful for that. So, you know, check in on each other, reach out, fill yourself with love, do something nice for someone else. And I know that about this congregation. You guys are constantly looking for ways to make other people feel good. And that's a great thing, so keep continuing to do that. Remember, all the stuff that's going on, it's temporary. You know, we don't know how long it's going to last, but we can be guaranteed it's not permanent. And there's a gift in that. Seek balance and harmony wherever you can. I have a short mantra that I use when I know that I'm temporarily balanced or upset. I just go, God is good, God is present, God is in this very situation, and all is well. Let it go, and then move on. So our last slide. So I would like us to look at this. This is our mission, our vision, and our values. And so I'd like to just take time to close this, and let's say this together. We are a vibrant, spiritual community, empowering personal transformation and modeling the Christ consciousness. Centered in God, we celebrate a world of love, harmony, and abundance. And our core values: integrity, joy, living love, spirit-led, thriving. And so, you know, think about those during the week, because that's who we are. That was a conscious practice that we did to define our spiritual community. And it's an important part of who we are and why we show up in the world. And so just want to say thank you, everyone, for letting me be here with you this morning. And I hope that you have a marvelous week ahead.
Can you go back one slide?
Yes. Kathy, can you take us back one?
I was so glad when I read that you put lager in there for us, because
Lager, there are some people, so thank you for that. I think that might have been a Freudian slip in there. Randy.
One of the things that's happening to me this week with family affair is a misunderstanding. And some things are progressing out of a misunderstanding. And, you know, there's two of us that believe we're right. And, you know, and one feels like it's absolutely necessary to beat the other one over the head with it. And so practicing that forgiveness, you know, understanding, and maybe even taking on some of the responsibility yourself has really been something I've had to gravitate to all week. Because, you know, I'm right. Let's just get that understood. I'm right. You know? So that's part of what I have to get over as well. Just the thought that, you know, maybe I'm not right, but it's okay. I don't need to bring it up. And how do we move forward? And the very first part about that is you know, either taking on a responsibility or forgiveness, absolute from the very beginning. So,
you know, letting go of being right is so critical, because you know you may be right, you know, but your right may not be what that other person needs in that instance. Maybe they need to do something their way because that's the way that they see forward. There was a book, Resolving Conflict, that we read as part of the SEC courses that I took for my licensed Unity teacher. And right now the name of it is escaping me. But that's one of the big foundational things, is letting go of being right. You know, and being willing to compromise. especially when you're doing something or in a relationship with someone else. So that's huge. Debbie.
Thank you so much for this. You were speaking to me. You're speaking especially with what's going on in the world.
Yeah, there are people who are just devastated right now, just emotionally devastated and afraid, and there's validity in that. And so we have to remember, like, no matter what political party you are a part of, we've got to be nice to each other through this. Like, no matter what you believe, the only way that we are going to move through this time is to take care of each other and realize that our political opinions are not our whole person. It's a temporary thing. It's a small part of us that feels really big right now. And so for those people who are really hurting, reach out, make sure that you take care of yourself, that you get the support that you need, you know, and let's all just be a little extra nice right now, because we need it. Call your prayer chaplain. Seriously, y'all. If you are struggling and you need somebody to just sit with you, be with you, call Silent Unity. You call Silent Unity. They're there, you know. And so, RJ, did you have anything that you were going to say?
Earlier on your slide, you said louder. What I read was laugh with her.
Oh, that's good.
You have a beautiful Jessica laugh.
Yeah, so a reminder, laugh with her.
I like that.
We all get so serious, people, and I'm one of the worst. I'm so tunnel, poor Greg, I'm so tunnel vision, you know, he'll have to tell me things 2-3 times. Did you hear me? The letter I told him, like I told you about, like, maybe you did. He's like, yes, I did. I'm like, okay. But, you know, there's that, being in a relationship with other people, being patient, you know, understanding where they're at. So anyway, so thank you, Tommy.
I believe that your thinking becomes with your life's experience of the people you hang with. You hang with a bunch of people that are misguided. Why is when you get older, you seem to be so much wiser? When you're a kid, when I was a teenager, you couldn't tell me anything because I knew it all. Even with my family or friends, I was right. But as you grow older, you think, wow, what a dumbass I was.
And it's perspective. It's like what your perspective is. And so I would encourage you too, like if at work you have someone who thinks differently than you, we know we have family members like who may have polar or opposite beliefs than we do. Don't engage. You know, if you can have a loving conversation, fine. If you don't, change the subject. Just don't engage. Don't even go there. And I know sometimes it's really hard, but the goal is to keep and maintain healthy relationships with people. I mean, that's how the world's going to get healed, right? By we're all so different. If you think about how many billions of people there are on this planet, it constantly amazes me how we're all so different. Like, you never meet somebody who's just like you. And you meet a ton of people in your lifetime. Oh gosh, Tommy's pointing at MJ back there, and those two are you know, they are joined at the hip, but they're two very different people. But so it's like, you know, we're here to figure out how to get along. We're here to figure out how to love each other, how to resolve our differences. If we weren't so unique, the world wouldn't be such an interesting, fun place. We wouldn't want to all be alike. That wouldn't be any fun. So we have to figure out how to play in this playground together. You know, you think about little kids who come to the world, their innocence and their curiosity and their questioning, until it kind of all gets drug out of them, or, you know, just they get discouraged, you know, because everybody wants to be safe, right? Which safety is an important part of our existence. But, you know, if we could be a little bit more risk takers, if we could be a little bit more less set in our ways, if we can be a little bit more curious, a little bit more open, a little bit more understanding, the world, I think, would be a better place. Thank you.